Hello, beautiful souls. Victoria Amador here from Soul Healing Tribe. And today I have the pleasure to have Holly Griffin here with us. She is the main therapist at Conscious Soul Healing is her company. And she has been doing breath work for over 24 years, which is quite amazing. She's also a quantum healing practitioner and now a DRT practitioner as well. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you, Victoria.
Anything else you want the audience to know about you before we start?
Well, those of you that know me, I guess know I like to talk, and suddenly I'm stricken for words here. So, uh, no, I guess I just want people to know that I love healing work. I love working with medicines, and it's just become a really big part of my life and a really transformational part of my life.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Holly and I have been working together for a couple of years now, and she's definitely getting to the point where it's next level. So I'm like super happy every time that you're in ceremony with us. So just feeling your energy, your connection to like grounding energy that is like, oh, it just reminds me of the natives. Every time that I have you around me, that's what it feels like. So super excited to have you today. Let's start with why you have been doing quantum healing before. You did a little bit of as well of online quantum healing, right? Beyond quantum healing, the breath work, Reiki work, a lot of healing work, shamanic work. What made you decide to take the dream regression training, which is dreams, nightmares, psychedelic, and everything in between, age, past life regression, soul regression, and so on?
So, what really drove me to want to take this training was I sort of came to, I don't want to call it like a plateau. It could be a plateau or a block where I was just at a point with my clients where we could have a great session and unravel a lot of stuff, but I felt like there was just something more beyond that barrier. And for me, from the moment I read and heard about the DRT, I connected with that. I felt like this is the missing piece of my puzzle, truly.
Mm, okay. So for those people that are listening that may be looking into doing work with you, you have been doing quantum healing for 2 or 3 years already, right?
Yeah, so I think it's 2.5, 3 years now. Yeah, actually 3 years, 2021, January 2021.
Okay.
So pretty.
So wait, yeah. So you have seen a lot of clients, a lot of different situations that come your way, right? What made you feel like you needed something else?
I love all the work, I give it all the credit in the world. But again, I felt like there was more behind, even though we could go really deep and we could unravel uh,
Mhm.
past lives and situations and traumas. I just felt like there was just a whole nother world beyond that mountain or behind that wall or over that plateau with the clients that I was working with, and even with myself, and being able to connect and see into that realm and that place that I
I,
knew existed, but I didn't know existed. So
okay.
I think just knowing that there was something beyond, we could go deeper. We were getting to the root, but we were dancing around it, you know,
Mm,
um, in so many ways. And I'm sure a lot of people that have done a lot of work on themselves can even relate to that, where you're feeling like, oh my gosh, you're having these transformative experiences, but there's something else there, and you just need to tap into it so that you can just really waterfall out whatever it is that needs to come
yeah.
out.
What do you mean something else there? Is it what I'm thinking that you're thinking?
There's the more I got into working with people in hypnosis, um, there's like surface level, and then we can go deeper and deeper. And a lot of times we have spontaneous deep releases that when the patient's not even conscious it's happening. Um, but still feeling like after each session there's something else there. I feel like we didn't get it all. I feel like we didn't um master that. I feel like there's something residual in there that's like hiding from us, whatever, that could be. And I don't think I could really understand that at the beginning until I worked with more and more people. Um, and then I was getting to that point where I felt like I needed more answers and how to prepare and get the client ready to receive those answers, because sometimes people are only willing to go so far, even if it's subconsciously, I guess, putting
Okay.
with blockages and just kind of being reserved and keeping their bearings on the table there. Not ready to let go, not ready to let go yet, even if they adore us and like love us and have cried with us. There's still like a kind of a tipping point, I think,
Yeah.
in healing work. And for me, like DRT is that. And DRT takes you there and it goes directly in, um, removing all the fluff in between.
Okay. So before taking the training, what were your expectations about the course?
Um, I think I wanted to go in there and be able to, fill in my little note page with all the little step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. I thought everything was going to be this clear little concise manual. And that was what I was expecting, in a sense, not due to you or anything that you told us about the program. Just I think in human beingness, sometimes we expect things to be a certain way and to come to us in a certain package. So it was all but that. I didn't even know what to write down. At some point, I was like, I'm just gonna quit taking notes because I gotta be so present in this and to get it. And there's still, it's still coming when we interact with others. So.
That's right. Yeah. So how did the course, like, what do you think was the benefit, or what did you hope to get in terms of the skills and knowledge to be able to tackle those clients that are still like holding on really tight?
Um, what did I want to get? I wanted to get that. I wanted these like clear, concise, complete answers. And oh, you just need to do this, say this. Um, and it was more through the self-discovery process of experiencing these healings, these releases, um, and transformations in the process of the training that really gave my soul the answers that it needed and gave my brain the answers that it needed. So the answers were there all along. I just had to be with it so that I could be shown, by being present and allowing that own transformation process to go on within me and within my teammates that took the training with us.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So when you think about the whole training, there were so many modules, so many pieces, so many protocols. Are any of those, anything that comes to mind when I ask this question, like what stood out that was like, oh, wow, this is something that I really have been missing?
Um, wow, that's a great question. Because I'm thinking about the way that I connected the dots in my brain, but then I'm also thinking like as an overview as a student or someone that's coming to this. I feel like the way we dove in, we dove in. Um, there wasn't a lot of preparation. There wasn't a lot of, getting those notes right. Like I said, we couldn't even use our notes technically for the sessions that we were doing, but we dove in, we were persistent. It was the practice and it was working with others, and being able to see the different experiences that others were having and not hesitating in getting into the session. I think in a lot of modalities, there is a lot of time spent on relaxing the client, and that's great. But what I saw, learned, and am now adapting with the DRT is that it's just unnecessary. Like if you want to work on something, you need to go right in and do it, and that is what you, Victoria, had us doing in the training. And we were forced to continuously work together and come up with something and dig in really deep. There wasn't any time to be taking deep breaths and all this, all this stuff. It was like, what was it? We're going there now. And it's really amazing watching and experiencing how quickly we could go into the dream realm or the subconscious and work in that field after, for me, being a different type of regression practitioner for a few years, having been used to taking that time and just dancing into it, which is super hyper amazing and relaxing. Okay, I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but I'm saying if you want to get to the meat, DRT is it.
Yeah, I think sometimes people need the relaxation, especially if they're very heavily traumatized, to do work and give them resources that they don't have
Mhm.
before going into the regression. But if the person is reasonably okay, I think we can do 99% of the work without having to relax someone into an altered state, because the moment that we start feeling and having those sensations, we're ready
Yeah.
in that altered state. So we can save 20-30 minutes of work that we can use to have effective processes so that the person can feel really better faster. So
Right, right.
yeah, so we spend time in the DRT. We spend time talking about and learning about age regression, the wound regression and rebirthing, past lives, other lives, spirit releasement, eating plans, grief protocols, sexual abuse, and so much more. Out of all those things, was there anything that stood out to you?
Um, I think first of all, I mean, we as practitioners and we as just human beings, even if you're just going through this for your own healing experience, we hear about those things and we think about those things, and we've probably had a couple of those that we've, consciously had to work on in our lives, whatever that is, through a trauma or something in our childhood or something that came up. But I think that once those came up in the training, it really helped me to see and understand the depth and the amount of those attachments, traumas, griefs, the things that were still unresolved within us
Mhm.
as practitioners, needing to be healed and released, peeling the layers of the onion. It's a big talk in the spiritual community, right? We're always peeling the layers of our onion, to heal on a deeper level. And with the DRT, once we got into each of those, I was really blown away at how intricate it was and how deeply attached grief can be, how deeply attached an attachment can be.
Mhm.
So that, I think, was kind of the most important realization for me. Um, was being able to see too, there's still something stuck there for me and for others, you know, behind those shadows. And we may think it's okay, we may feel okay, but we know in our hearts we're not. And just learning from that aerial perspective and that aerial view, and really going in depth through each of those topics, I think was just really, really huge and eye-opening, I think would be the word. Again, because you think, oh yeah, of course everybody has grief, everybody has this. Oh yeah, I had somebody that was talking about ETs one time, you know. We're thinking like that, but we're not really realizing how severe it is and how intense it is and how much of a grip these things that are embedded in our subconscious from past lives, in our subconscious from this life, are actually affecting us in our lives today.
Yeah. And, you know, normally it's funny because,
Shh.
yeah, it reminds me of your session.
Well, you know what? It's funny because that's, yeah, exactly. So for some reason, certain topics seem to activate the creatures.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, we're gonna
Like
leave it there.
clockwork. Like clockwork, and you guys hear them.
Right. So have you found, you know, I think with DRT, one of the things that people are really a little worry or feel for sometimes is the spirit attachments and the ET implants, and it is hard to explain to someone what that feels like unless they go through it, right? Because it's like, wait a minute, what does this feel like when I'm releasing? What happens when I'm working with the implants and so on? Have you found any of your clients that have some of these situations graduating from the program?
Yeah, I do. And what actually is interesting is my mind, as we were going through the training, and of course upon the completion of training, I was thinking back to unresolved sessions that I've had
Okay.
with people I may or may not be able to work with again, but thinking that this is it, actually. This was what I missed. There is something there. There is something attached. So I'm distracted by the by the forest over here. But yeah, whatever your question was, yeah.
Yeah. So have you found with your clients, since finishing the program, it's been a few months, and finishing the program, have you worked with anyone and naturally some of these attachments or ET implants have come out?
Oh, yes, yes. That's the interesting thing too, because as soon as we started to work on this, it when you're ready, it just starts to appear for you. So that next person you work with, like, you really don't know what you're gonna get. It's been amazing because we can cry and then we can laugh about it at the end of the session and say,
Right.
that's what that was. We did it. It's more of a sense of accomplishment.
Right. And empowerment
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
session. Right.
Especially for, yes, especially for the client. Being able to actually see, accept, and release, but feeling it energetically being gone even after, you know,
Right.
that residual is gone. You feel the residual of the residual, so you're like, wow, I didn't know that was there, but now I see how I felt all these years, and I don't feel that anymore, wherever it was, whatever it was in their body that was off. So I think it's pretty miraculous, to be honest with you. It's insane.
Yeah. And when you were talking, I was remembering, like, sometimes when we do medicine work or spiritual trance work, right? Let's call it that. We know that we're getting pieces of the stories, right? But when we do a trans regression and we see how this affects us on a level that we couldn't imagine before, it
Yeah,
becomes extremely empowering.
absolutely.
So from your perspective, because you do a lot of hape ceremonies and sananga and so on, cacao, what is your, how do you see working in combination with these medicines, sacred medicines, and DRT or whatever you know, therapy work?
The DRT, and I think I said this earlier, for me was just like the missing piece of the puzzle. Um, and I want everybody to be open to, because I know some of you may be coming to the training just for your own self healing, but it really has been a bridge into those realms for me and helping me to understand what's going on
Mm.
there more, and to be able to it's so remarkable because I think, and for me too, I made it out to be so complicated, and in a sense it is, but it really isn't. So once you start working through the program and working with other people, and again, that's even if you're just doing this for your own healing and transformation, it's a third eye opening. It's like an opening into all realms, connecting the spiritual and the human realm, on every level. So I feel that I don't know how I wanted to word that, but it, it helped me become a real student in that space.
Mm.
Let's say through awareness. But I think that overall, in applying it to either medicine, trance, meditation, hypnosis, or whatever it is that we're doing, it just brings an overall better understanding and makes you better equipped to support and be there for people to allow these healings and transformations to occur.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And while you were talking, saying about this medicine, I remember one time we had a ceremony and I'm going into a trance with tobacco, right? Like the energy, the spirit of tobacco, and really going deeper. And everybody else is like, what is going on? But when you start this journey, you can tap and feel and see what is going on. So it's
Mhm.
no longer so mysterious, and we can be able to navigate through it.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
was going to say too, like, I think that it it shows you too that you don't need anything. You don't need, not that we're relying on that, but even coming into the medicine world or spiritual work, you get comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, you get comfortable in your little comfort zone and what have you still. Okay, we take our little blankie in there with us, our spiritual mental blankie. But I think with the DRT, it shows you like everything is here. It's infinite and it's connected, and we can tap in like this, and we can be there for someone, and we can help them get there just by holding their hand and really being in that space with someone else.
Yeah, and I like to, it's funny because years ago I did a session with someone and the person was also a channeler. So we're connecting together and she's like, oh my God, so you're gonna create a program. I go, I'm not even thinking about that yet. And to have the DRT and the Awakening the Healer within, when I first got that name, I didn't understand why. I thought, oh, let's just wake up all the abilities we have. And it was like, no, we have to awaken the healer within us. The true medicine.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So while you were working in the program, and you did the first program, the first cohort that was very short. So you got everything in a matter of 24 hours, which was a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And in the process of that, you also had to do session exchanges with the other people and out of the program. So tell us about your experience with that. Like, what was that like working on yourself while I mean, honestly, everybody thinks I'm just going to go there to help, to learn how to help
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah, for me instantly I realized this is a gift for myself first. And I took advantage of it. I
Yes, you
was like,
did.
I'll come up with something. I got a little nightmare, something really creepy that I'd never want to even talk about in my whole life. Let's do it. And we all know how that unraveled amazingly. So I think that doing it, it's a gift. It's a gift to yourself. It's a gift to take you wherever you're at. It's going to take you to the next level as a healer, as a person, as a friend, as a mother, as a whatever you are, as a worker. Because the more we can transform inside, the more our outer world transforms around us. It's
Mhm.
the magic of it all. So going into the very quick training, I think is it was it was definitely intense, and we didn't really have a lot of options, so we had to feel instantly. We just didn't have time. It was like, we got to do it. We got to do it now. We got to get in. We got to work with others. Yeah.
Yeah, the second cohort is doing 70 something hours, and the third one is going to do over 90 hours. So,
Now that's a proper training right there, I'm sure. No, actually, I was gonna say too about that. Um, that's phenomenal, especially if you have not had a lot of background in training and other healing modalities. So Victoria and I personally have had other trainings and things like that. So I think it made it easier for some of us to go through the training, such as myself, because I already was working with people and knew the whole, basic stuff. But I think the extended trainings are going to be super beneficial, especially if you crave this work and you want to help others and you want to help yourself. It's going to give you more time to integrate
yeah,
what's going on, especially if you're new to the practice. And even if you're not new to the healing industry, then you already know, like, 90 hours, great. Like, I'm giving to myself. And the gifts that you receive from doing any kind of work or training like this are, as you guys know, always tenfold, a million tenfold. So we still see the gifts and benefits unlocking themselves months later.
absolutely. What else would you say? Any final thoughts? Anything that I didn't ask you that you wanted to talk about? And I went on the side. So,
Yeah, I think I went off the side too.
I did.
Oh, you did? Well, I went on the side too with you. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, so I would encourage anyone that has any interest in this, whatever it was that you either read or heard or is hearing one of us say in these interviews, I think it's something to be acknowledged and listened to, and to just make that training happen for yourself. Even if you're not wanting to be a practitioner, we say that because we do have a lot of people in our group that aren't necessarily working with others. You can work on yourself so deeply in this program. It's like 50 years of like therapy work in one training. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So I would definitely say, if you're even watching this, then the training's meant for you.
Oh, thank you. How can people reach out to you if they want sessions with you?
Oh, how can people reach out to me? My website is conscious-soul-healing.com. That's CONSCIOUS SOUL-HEALING.com. And my number is 561-339-6675.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being
Love
here.
to hear from you guys. Look forward to working with you again.
Beautiful. We'll see you guys on the next
Thank
one.
you,
Thank you.
Victoria.
Thank you.